Hi, welcome to the Get Ready with God podcast. My name is Julie Taylor and I'm your host, and I am not God. Obviously, I'm not an expert. I'm not even a scriptorian. I'm literally just a girl sitting in front of a microphone, hoping God is real. The Get Ready with God podcast is the daily devotional podcast to help you see divinity in every day. So let's talk about that. What does it mean to see divinity in every day? I got a question from someone asking, what's the difference between just seeing goodness in every day and seeing divinity in every day? And it's a very simple answer, kind of. For me, it is my choice to see it and label it as divinity. I've made that decision. So, yeah, you can just look for goodness in every day and light in every day and charity in every day. You can look for a lot of good things in every day. And I think that will have really positive benefits. I think that will really have a positive impact on your life. 1000%. I have chosen to label it as divinity, and sometimes it feels very clearly divine because I think it's more fun to not believe in coincidences. And so for me, it's more fun to believe. Haha, should write a book called that. I like the thought of a higher power. I like the thought of being a divine creation of heavenly parents. I like the thought that there is a force at play who knows me, loves me, and is guiding me. I find those ideas comforting. And so I've chosen to believe in that. And it's not all choice. I've had experiences in my life that feel inexplicable without divinity at play. And I guess you could describe them other ways. I know other people do. But for me, because I'm deciding to believe in God, I label the stuff as divinity. And like I said, sometimes it is undeniably divine in my mind, by my perception. And other times it is just goodness. But I like to attribute it to divinity for multiple reasons. One, it's just more fun. Like I said, it's more fun to think that there is this force out there working together for our good. And two, I think that, and we've talked about this recently, it helps me keep my ego at bay, where when really great things happen, it's fun to me it's empowering to me to see the goodness in humanity paired with the goodness of God. I like to see it that way rather than luck or my own achievements or coincidence. I really, really, it makes me better when I believe in something. It makes me better. It makes me see the good in people. And it makes me think a little deeper about my life and connect dots that maybe I otherwise wouldn't, and learn from experiences in a way that I don't know I would without attributing it to divinity. So the practice itself, what's the difference? Nothing. Nothing. It's looking for goodness in every day. The difference is my choice to label it as divinity and to gather it as evidence to support a belief in a higher power. And the reason gathering that evidence is important to me is because I have found through my own experience and trial and error, I guess, that when I believe in God, when I look for God, when I label it as God, and when I choose to come closer to God, my life gets better and I get better. And I don't mean it necessarily gets circumstantially better. Some really bad circumstances still happen. But I find that I am more uneffable. That's what I wanted to name my book, Becoming Uneffable. But that didn't get approved. Maybe the next one. But that's what I feel like faith has done for me, is it's made me hold more constant and feel more peace regardless of my circumstances. And that to me is miraculous. To be able to feel peace or to feel okay when circumstantially nothing is okay is the biggest miracle maybe of them all that I've experienced. Way back in the beginning of this podcast, I shared about how I think quantum physics plays into divinity. And so there's an argument that would say quantum physics eliminates the need for faith or God, because if you can explain things through science, then why do you need God? And at some point, wouldn't we just be able to explain everything through science? Therefore, would that not disprove the existence of divinity? But I see it the other way around, where I think our discoveries and advancements and learnings about science prove divinity and teach us more about maybe how divinity works, because I think God plays by rules of the universe, maybe. And I think if we're talking about the creation of the world or the creation of us, or I think science explains maybe how divinity does the things that it does. And I think quantum physics specifically is one theory I have of how this works, because I don't think it's actually magic. I think that we just don't understand it or know it. But that's how I see it, is that science is continually proving divinity more. And the goodness I see, I attribute to divinity. It all just comes down to a choice. So I think that if you're just trying to dip your toe back in faith, or if you're exploring spirituality, if it helps you take the pressure off to just label it as goodness, then sure, look for goodness in every day. And I think that's a beautiful practice, similar to a gratitude practice. Find something to be grateful for in every day. You guys, it is 11 p.m. It is so late at night. I don't usually record this late at night, but I am flying to England in the morning, and we needed episodes. So here I am. So if you're just dipping your toe in, try that. Try labeling it as goodness. You can do a gratitude practice. All of those are proven to have really positive effects. But what I'm doing here is specifically choosing to label it as divinity, to see it as such and use it as evidence to prove the existence of the divine to myself, because it's a choice I've made that I want to believe in it and I want to find it. And while in the past I have had undeniable experiences, I will deny them fully. I really do believe it is possible to see an angel one day and deny it the next. I think that is humanity. And so I can witness miracle after miracle, or coincidence after coincidence, if you want to label it that way. But I'm choosing to label it as divinity to keep myself on this side of believing. So TLDR, there's not a big difference other than what you call it. And there are some things, I think, that are undeniably divine, that you couldn't just label as coincidence or goodness or light. It goes one step further. It makes it too much to deny some greater power at play. But start where you're at. If you need it to just be goodness right now, if you just need it to be light right now, if you need it to be kindness, if you need it to be gratitude, the daily practice of looking for something positive is never the wrong choice. So start where you're at. Dive right in. The water is fine. Love you. Bye.